So we just had the reveal for the brand new entry in the Assassin's Creed franchise, Assassin's Creed Shadows. And thanks to the folks over at Ubisoft, they've sent me a bunch of information to talk about and share with you today. So thank you, Ubisoft, for sponsoring today's video. In Assassin's Creed Shadows, you will enter the world of feudal Japan, with the time period known as the Sengoku era. This is where the unification wars of Japan are taking place, and it will feature prominent historical figures such as Oda Nobunaga and Akechi Mitsuhide. You will be playing the game from a dual perspective during the time period, as an assassin Shinobi Naoe and the real African Samurai Yasuke. There's been a bunch of media that's already covered his origin, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more in this video. And if you want to see both of them in action, over on the Ubisoft YouTube channel right now. My first initial thoughts of all of this stuff that I've got to receive is it's pretty damn cool. It was filled with a lot of action shots from Yasuke and Naoe, which look distinctly different from one another, and I can kind of predict how gameplay is going to feel. And there's the assassin shinobi element, and then there's a samurai element, and Naoe seems to be more the fast, quick assassin, and then Yasuke in the trailer absolutely goes to town on some guys with what I believe to be a kanabo, which is like this big metal mallet. The other thing that interests me most is the dual protagonist approach, similar to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which, as blasphemous it is to say, I have not played. Whilst I've also seen this in like an opposite type deal with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it had the twin opposite the main character type approach, it seems that this time the characters will have their own intertwined stories to follow. How the characters interact is to do with a Japanese proverb, which is you're still a frog in a well who knows nothing of the sea. And it resonates with both of them, and that's how they will unite and come together throughout the story. Now that we know a little bit more about the story, let's dive into some of the characters a little bit more, because the first one I'm going to talk about is Naoe. She comes from the Iga province, which is the birthplace of the shinobi, that are more commonly known for their stealth, infiltration, sabotage style tactics, which will most likely lean into what her gameplay is. Her father, pictured in the trailer, has also been trying to instill certain ideas such as valor, wisdom, and benevolence while training her, which has been focused now towards Oda Nobunaga after he invades their home. I really like the style of what they're going with her aesthetic, and I definitely want to find out more about how her story intertwines with Yasuke's and the morals, and definitely how they both unite. We'll talk a little bit more about Yasuke in just a moment. But the first big historical figure we want to talk about is Oda Nobunaga. He is one of the men trying to unify Japan during this period. He has a lot of relationships with the Portuguese trade merchants and is incredibly powerful. His men are responsible for 2 of the attacks at different time periods on the Iga province, in which the second attack completely crushed the region. Oda isn't the only person that our protagonists are going to have to deal with. There is going to be another rival clan in the game that is also vying for power. This time period has always fascinated me because of the different shogunate that was around that time period and how everything has kind of evolved. And I know my history isn't like 100% exact, but it's always fascinated me in like at least Japanese history and Japanese culture. Our second protagonist is the real-life African Samurai Yasuke. He was believed to have been born in Mozambique and was brought to Japan via slavery as a child. He was raised and trained as a warrior, and then eventually he meets Oda, who is impressed by his physical abilities, his appreciation of art, and his ability to speak Japanese, which from then on, he was employed as a samurai in Oda's service. How he goes about leaving that service in the game, or if he's doing like a double agent style thing, is something that interests me and I want to find out a little bit more of. More importantly, how each of the main characters' stories progress throughout the game is something we're going to have to wait and see a little bit more, not just Yasuke's, but the possibilities for gameplay is what actually intrigues me the most, because as a gameplay first guy, I've always enjoyed the Assassin's Creed games for their parkour, for their stealth gameplay, and more recently the exploration of their action combat. I'm very interested to see how that will translate to the feudal Japanese setting. Every move that you see within the trailer has been pulled from the game itself. It may not be a one-to-one exact animation style. So smashing through shoji doors as Yasuke is going to be something that you can do, as well as assassinating them through them as Naoe. And I'm not going to say that Yasuke is a big brutish style character. He's going to be very strong and maybe have a different variety of weapons, but it'd be really interesting to see if he has a select amount of weapons that he can get, as opposed to Naoe, and the ones that she wields are more like fast style weapons, and there's like a difference in gameplay that makes each character feel distinct, which is something I really hope that they do, and if it's an evolution on what we've seen in the previous games. Plus, we have stealth. It's the key thing in the Assassins game of Assassin's Creed, and it's now getting an upgrade with a grappling hook, which will allow us to traverse to those all-important vantage points to either eagle dive or take down enemies from above. Hopefully, we get to use it as a combat tool to pull enemies towards us, because that would be pretty damn awesome. Another neat thing that I picked up in the trailer was the spin on the hidden blade, which now I've read some more of the information, is that it's going to act like a normal assassin blade that will come out of the wrist, but it can actually be popped out and turned into a tanto, which is usually accompanied with another sword that Naoe is going to be able to dual wield, which means it opens up more possibilities for combat. Diving into the time period a little bit more, as I've said, feudal Japan has always fascinated me, and it's no different here in Assassin's Creed Shadows. There's a lot of shots of different Japanese countryside and big fortresses and stuff, and one central location of the game is the port of Sakai, which is where a lot of the merchant ships would travel to in the region. Now, most of them did actually come from Nagasaki, and they did state in the information given to me that the CGI trailer is just kind of putting Sakai in the game. There's probably going to be other areas that we'll be visiting that may have more ports and such that we'll be able to visit. And the main province that we might get to see as well, due to Naoe living there, is the Iga province. It's a mountainous region of Japan that was also seen in the trailer, but the main bulk of it is, from many of the screenshots you're seeing, is either in different fortresses and towns around feudal Japan. And I really do hope that we get to see maybe an influence of the Portuguese traders in there. There's like a difference in cultures. Something that's always excited me about the Assassin's Creed games is how well they showcase their worlds. They're big and beautiful and usually graphically quite stunning. After seeing all this information presented to us, I am very excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I've been waiting for them to do this region for so long, and a lot of fans have as well. And outside of like a futuristic Neo Tokyo, like cyberpunk type vibe, the Assassin's Creed game going to feudal Japan is the next best thing, and I think a lot of people will be very, very happy. Exploring the world, meeting different historical characters, there's always been the cornerstone of Assassin's Creed, and now we get to play as one with Yasuke. Maybe I'm biased. I love Japan, the region's history quite a lot, and experiencing that in a game is what I always look forward to, and I've done that with many other titles that have explored the different regions of feudal Japan, different time periods, different aesthetics, and I'm sure Assassin's Creed Shadows will be no different. And if you have liked anything here, you might want to go and check out the pre-order for this game, because it's live right now, because we have a release date, which is November 15th, 2024, so later on this year. We're going to find out more details on the game at Ubisoft Forward later on in June, roughly June 10th. There is a really cool collector's edition that features a whole bunch of stuff, including an amazing statue of the two protagonists in the game. Part of me is screaming, yes, this is awesome, but my wallet is also screaming at me, no, we do not have the capacity. I want to thank once again Ubisoft for sending this stuff over to be able to turn this video around quite quickly and get all this information out to you guys. It is very much appreciated, and if you've enjoyed any of this content, please leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and leave me a comment down below of your favorite Assassin's Creed game moment, and if you are excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows. And as always, this has been Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.